I'm here to introduce Kara Ng. So Kara is leads the Strategic Insights Department at POA Internet. They describe themselves as an impact-focused company, and we've had some tremendous conversations with the CEO and the CFO around the vision and mission of that company. We've also had some amusing experiences with them. I remember standing on the top of a building under a tower, looking out over stuff, and one of the people on our insight trip said, "Hey, can we pray for you?" And I think Andy was just a tiny little bit taken back by that. Never had a fund want to pray for him before, but actually was very open to that, which was brilliant. Kara is a proud alum of the University of Southern California. I think I heard somebody else say USC somewhere today. And has developed a huge amount of experience here that she's managed to take back. In terms of Talenton's involvement in POA Internet, we got involved in our first investment was just last year, so we've been involved for a little under a year. It's split between debt and convertible note. So we've got a component that's debt, and it's really all focused on customer growth. So that the total investment's around 3.3 million. Iris is on their advisory board. I don't want to steal too much of Kara's thunder, but last we looked, the company had 430 odd direct employees and over 67,000 clients. And in their statistics, the number that said there's at least 28,000 of those clients who are generating supplementary income out of opportunities that have been created as a result of having access to this internet. 28,000. So this is an enormously scalable company. We're super excited about the potential here, and I'd just love to introduce Kara.
Hi, everyone. Thank you for that intro. Some of you have asked, is it Kara or Kara? I respond to both, but my mom calls me Kara. I know David asked yesterday, to reflect on the question, why does the Lord have me here? And I think that's becoming increasingly clear to me throughout the course of this day. You've already heard that it's my birthday. It's actually my 33rd birthday. So I woke up this morning thinking just about the culmination of Jesus' earthly ministry at 33. And I just am so amazed. I recently was reflecting on Hebrews 12, 1-2. I haven't done the topical scripture memory course, so I'll paraphrase and say, therefore, since we are surrounded by such a great cloud of witnesses, let us cast aside the sin that clings to us and run the race set before us with endurance, looking to Jesus, the author and perfecter of our faith. And just to be in this room with all of you who have run the race before me and who have just spent a lot of time in your lives thinking about how your faith and your work intersect. It's just a great encouragement to me personally, so thank you so much for this. Okay, POA Internet, our vision is internet in every home in Africa. And so for context, we are a home internet service provider based in Nairobi. And when I say that phrase, internet in every home in Africa, I just ask that you take a moment and think about what images or stories come to mind for you, and just see whether those conceptions are validated or challenged throughout the next several minutes. We are seeking to become East Africa's leading internet service provider, connecting over 1 million homes over the next several years. You heard some of our numbers, so we're almost to 70,000 homes connected at this point. And that translates to probably well over 200,000 individuals connected to unlimited internet so far. We were founded in 2015. Sorry, this slide the print is very tiny. But we were founded in 2015. We chose the name POA. POA is a Swahili word that means something to the extent of cool or good. It's used in a lot of different contexts, but very frequently as a greeting. So if somebody were to say to you, "Mambo," you could respond with, "Very good." We're all on our way to becoming Swahili speakers. But that's kind of like saying, how's things? Yeah, all good, I'm cool. We first actually launched as a public hotspot service in Kibera. Kibera was mentioned earlier, but it's one of the largest urban slums in Africa. And pretty quickly, we learned that our customers really prefer enjoying internet from the comfort of their own homes, and they can experience value more so from their living rooms. So we pivoted and became a home internet service in 2017. And then from 2018 to 2022, save for a small global pandemic in the middle there, we were primarily focused on expanding to dense urban areas across the greater Nairobi region. And then in 2023 to 2024, we started our national expansion process, moving out to some of the other major cities in the country. So I'll pause there for a second and tell you a little bit about my own journey and where it intersects with POA. How does an Asian American Christian girl from Southern California with no engineering background end up at an internet company, a secular internet company in Nairobi? And to answer that question, I'm going to take you further back in time. I became a believer at a pretty young age. And I remember being about 13 when I participated in World Vision's 30-Hour Famine for the first time. And I watched the Invisible Children film about conflict in northern Uganda. And I think God used those vehicles to spark an interest in me at a very young age for the region. But I thought I was going to become a missionary in Africa, and I thought that it would be at some sort of aid-based, relief-based organization, because that was really all I knew. And I think that was largely because, at least in my experience, the image that the American church portrayed to me was pretty one-dimensional. I think it was a picture of the global South, a picture of great need and desperation, and families, communities torn apart by war and famine and conflict. But it left out a lot of other aspects of the story. Just day-to-day life, nuance of culture, people living their lives, and stories of hope and resilience as well. So I kind of I thought that I would be in this kind of aid-based space. And then I went to college, and I was exposed to social entrepreneurship for the first time, and the idea that business could be used as a vehicle for social change. And for sustainable impact. So my first internship in college was at an organization that first brought me to Kenya, and they really reinforced this idea that people are people everywhere, and that everyone has something to bring to the table. And that sounds so obvious to me now, but at the time, I think it was pretty game-changing for me to start to realize that the definition of impact and living out your calling as a Christian in the region could be much broader. And that by taking on a posture of learning, of being curious and engaging with people around me who know their own context, their own culture, their own pain points and aspirations far better than I ever could. It's through that collaboration that some of the most interesting and effective solutions can be born. So I was really grateful for that experience. It kind of kickstarted my career. Out of school, I joined an education company in Kenya, or it was expanding rapidly in East Africa at the time. And there I met a lot of my Western colleagues, at least, were some of the most good-hearted people with fire in their bellies who wanted to do good in the world. But interestingly to me, a lot of them were not only not Christians, but were pretty anti-Christian, disillusioned by their experiences with the church or with Christians in their past. And that's where I kind of started to understand this gap that I felt God calling me to sit kind of on this private sector impact space as a Christian with lots of Western colleagues, and to be able to kind of raise conversations between the church with its beautiful mandate to act justly and to love mercy and to care for the orphan and the widow, and then this social impact space where there was a lot of good intention and a lot of beautiful innovation happening, but not a lot of conversations about Jesus. So I think that's where God has positioned me, at least thus far in my career, to be able to raise conversations on either side about how we sometimes confuse the Savior with saviorism, and we sometimes conflate culture with Christianity. And I find that in my day-to-day life, sitting on kind of the operational company side of this equation, even if my witness is not necessarily explicitly sharing the gospel, it's through a lot of interactions and conversations that I really feel called to. And personally, that's like just as important to me as the impact of the work itself. So I came to POA in 2019. I was drawn to the mission of connecting the unconnected. And I came to build out the insight function, strategic insight function, where we really get to be the voice of the customer. So we spend a lot of time through data analytics, understanding what our customers do, and then through research, exploring why they do what they do, and then through our human-centered design work, creating solutions that are really geared toward the end user while also building the business. So coming back to that connecting the unconnected mission, POA's work is really bridging Africa's digital divide. So on the continent, there is a pretty heavy over-reliance on cellular technology, and the challenge is that mobile data is really expensive. Relatively very, very expensive. It's, 1 gigabyte of data is about 10% of the average daily income in a Kenyan household. That's compared to 0.4% in the UK. So prohibitively expensive in many cases. And that leads to very low levels of consumption. On average, a Kenyan mobile data user consumes about 3 gigabytes a month. That's like 90 minutes of YouTube. So very, very low levels of consumption, which, as you can imagine, then limits engagement with all of the value internet has to offer. And then you pile on top of that the high cost of fixed line infrastructure. It's very expensive for providers to build fiber out to the homes. And so that leaves a lot of underconnected, underserved communities in Kenya. And then if you think about, on top of that, the rise of the African youth and the fact that by 2050, over 50% of the world's population under 25 will be African, we really need to accelerate now providing African youth with the same access to opportunities and services that their global peers have. So POA works on bridging this divide by building cost-effective solutions for the last mile. I know some of you have visited some of our towers before, but that's a picture of one of our towers. We build low-cost towers on top of tall apartment buildings and kind of build out these clusters of distribution points. And then from there, the internet signal is passed through radio to these purple dishes, POA-branded dishes that sit on top of our customers' homes and apartment buildings. And then from there, internet is passed to the router, and customers connect to the router the same way you or I do. Our service is really focused on being affordable and unlimited. So our customers typically pay about $12.50 per month for internet access, and that's about 50% of our competitors, of other major providers in the area. And then we've also been focused on creating even more flexibility. So we launched a weekly package last year and are continuing to explore flexible payment options. But our customers can pay $3.50 for a week of internet access. That unlimited internet aspect is really big for us. Our customers are typically homes and micro businesses. And if you recall that 3 gigabyte a month figure that we just talked about, in comparison, our customers consume between 200 and 250 gigabytes per month. So much more meaningful interaction with the internet and the ability to get more value out of it. One of the pieces that might be of interest to all of you, in our most recent study, we found that 55% of our customers use internet for income generating purposes. So that could be, supporting working from home, or enabling existing business operations, or finding new work opportunities as well. So we see a lot of that in our network. The way in which we enter communities is through engagement with our communities. So we hire a lot of our, especially sales staff and support staff from within our communities. And we go in and we'll connect schools and various community organizations. And then we also partner with local businesses, small local businesses, as part of our agent network. So they're able to sell internet on our behalf and to earn an additional income stream through POA. As you heard, we're all throughout Kenya, and then we have plans to expand into some of the other East African countries over the next couple of years. And then POA as an organization has created so far over 480 tech jobs, about half of which are filled by women, and we have another 140 plus local suppliers that we partner with. So lots of other opportunities for job creation and income stimulation just through our day-to-day operations. So that was a very brief snippet of the work that we do and the impact that we have, but I would love to play a video that deep dives some of these stories even further. And as you watch this video, I invite you to think back to that first kind of that first image or first idea you had of internet in Africa, and just to consider like the world of opportunities that are enabled by connection. And I think that's really the heart of what we do, is create connection. So.
When we go into a new area, for example, we put free internet into the schools. That's not really anything to do with us making a commercial decision about it. It's just we believe that having access to the internet is so important that giving these kids a chance is just a really, really important thing to do. It's not really about providing affordable internet. That's the end game. How we've managed to do that, how we've built this business of over 70 people now and been going for 5 years, and how we work with the communities when we go there is what really differentiates us.
True Vine Academy is a school that was started in 2018. We are providing the education for the preschool and also the primary. In this school we have around 150 pupils. Poor Internet is providing us with free internet. I think that one will be of great help to us. We'll be able to teach the kids what they need from the internet, because the new curriculum, when you look at it, most of the things that are in it are about to use internet. There are so many things that they need to do the searches on Google and all that. It will also help the teachers. And there are some things maybe they want to know more, and it will be of great help to them.
Internet is very important to the communities we serve. That is why POA has grown year after year. We started with barely 80 customers. Right now we are past the 10,000 mark. Personally, I live down there in the community we serve. So I have a lot of experience with people whose lives changed forever, till date.
Internet is life. I know almost everything. I know without going to a school to learn about this. I am a customer representative working with DSTV. Currently, I'm able to do my online jobs to get extra cash, which can be even $3 or $5 per hour. It's a good service and good speeds.
I think it has been a great opportunity for our customers in Pipeline, because they get to start their own businesses. At the end of the month, they still have income, and there are people who are just sitting at home.
Naitwa Victor, mimi ni kinyozi, mimi hufanya hapa kazi. Kwa biashara imesaidia pakubwa sana, kwa sababu hapa weekend watu huwa wengi, na wakingoja line unawapa password, wanajienjoy wakingoja. Kuna mchezo hapo ya watoto pia ipo.
And what you see is when people have unlimited internet, it gives that transformation, and it's everything from kids having access to endless education opportunities, to business opportunities to be set up, to ways of communicating more broadly. Things we take for granted in other parts of the world are not here and not real yet. We wanted to try to build something really different, so not a corporate, hierarchical, traditional company. We wanted to build something where ideas got to the top of the pile, and challenging norms got to the top of the pile, and failing gets to the top of the pile. And we've got guys and girls who've been with us right from the start, who've grown with us, who come from the communities that we serve, and watching them grow is almost as important as what we're doing for the communities that we're serving.
It's great that we've managed to build a fantastic team here. Many of them come from the places where we operate, so it's great to see them joining a tech business and developing their skills and building their relationships, and hopefully they become the entrepreneurs that start the next generation of businesses. And the problem we're trying to solve, this problem of people not being online, actually isn't just an African problem, it's a global problem. We have thousands and thousands of people now connected to the internet using hundreds of gigabytes of data per month. We truly believe we've actually achieved at least the starting point for our goal, which is to try and create parity between internet usage in the West and in Africa.
That 10,000 home figure in the video was an old interview, but yeah, we're past that at this point.
Thank you so much, Cara. And Power Internet is one of the companies that we're currently in deep evaluation for as a follow-on investment for the Momentum Fund. And just to give you a little tiny number piece here, that dish that they put on a house and the router associated with that is, it costs about $124 for that whole setup. And they charge $12 a month. So you can see there's a cash need as you expand this across that for every one of those things, you're basically investing. Now, they do end up making very good revenue. It's just a company that accumulates a cash need. And so this is a great opportunity for us to invest alongside them, and we love doing it.